So this will be the last video of Krusty for a while. Krusty's out of the acid bath. It was a vinegar bath, as I said earlier in the earlier videos. This thing was very, very poor. It had been upside down for 10, 12 years in the engine bay. Don't ask me how that happened. It had no paint. It had pretty much no oil. The crank is what we consider at this point a write-off. I will throw it in just to see if we can save it. Pretty sure it's going in the bin. Girdle looks actually not too bad considering. This is what people do when they're not really paying attention, I guess. The corrosion on this side is not as bad as it is on the other side. So for those caring, that's still the original tag. I haven't taken it off. The engine number's visible on this side. The other side's worse. It's got bad corrosion. And you can see here how deep that is. It's really chewed into the block. And in places here where we should have RB30 and an engine number, it's pretty much not readable. It is covered in penetrating oil. That's why it looks so shiny. And that's why it looks funny when I rub it. You can still see it's still corroding under the oil. So this will need another treatment yet, which it will get. I just covered in that just to slow down the corrosion until I get to that process. The bores are still downright messy. We're expecting to have to sleeve a few of them, so in that case we'll sleeve all of them. Being the fact that the crank is probably going in the bin as scrap metal because I don't think it's salvageable, there's a high chance that this will become a 3.2 litre high compression NA screamer. He's talking ITBs and 11 or 12 to 1 compression. Around the thermostat ring has actually survived. I wasn't sure if that was going to make it, but it looks good. The oil filter boss actually survived, obviously, because it was covered in oil. The back, even though it looks a kind of bit messy, it's just surface stuff now, just from sitting. It actually looks pretty good. The oil seal area looks good. The rear main seal area, sorry. Oil pump seal in the front still looks good. The gasket survived. Just shows how good those damn things are. Anyone who's tried to remove these knows they're like concrete. 4 days of vinegar didn't lift it. I was quite surprised. The factory head gasket has survived in a few spots still. I didn't scrape it, I just left it there to protect the surface. That and a bit lazy, I was just too busy trying to get in the tank. The water jackets are actually the saving grace on this block, so they are actually really, really neat. It's my opinion this thing has probably done very low Ks before it was pulled apart and abandoned. So typically the exhaust side is where you see the most corrosion, obviously because it's hotter. And this one just doesn't have that, so it's really, really good. In the tunnel's a bit messy. One of them's a bit bad, but I suspect this will get a line bore anyway, so that's not a problem. I suspect the deck surface here for the pan gasket is actually very poor. It'll get machined just to tidy it up. The head was actually really good considering. I can't remember if this had the head on it or not when I first saw it, but yeah, it's come up not too bad. Yeah, but like I said, like there's still patches of corrosion on it. I've pulled the pin. I think if I leave it there any longer, I'm going to start corroding areas I don't want it to corrode and eat into. So from here, it'll get shipped over the engine shop, and they'll treat it and go from there and measure it up, mark it, ball gauge, all the other stuff. It looks like there's good material around the bores, and they'll know when they test it, and then we can know if we're going to actually bore and sleeve this thing. Well, this is the last one of these for a while. Maybe I'll do the crank next. I'll throw that in the soup, see if it does anything, see if it's salvageable. I think it's a bin job. And the girdle will go in. So happy days for those who want to know. Yes, vinegar does clean a block. Yes, it's a hell of a lot cheaper to do it at a machine shop. Yes, ultrasonic cleaner is way better, way more efficient. Unfortunately, there's not one local to me, so I tried this. You can do it at home in a plastic tub. It's awkward, it's bulky. I've chewed up 4 days of time. Good entertaining experience. Would I do it again? Maybe. Not something I'd openly recommend to the home handyman unless you're pretty savvy with engines and have an engine crane and a bit of spare floor space and 140 odd litres of vinegar. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this. This will be the last one on the block, as I said, until further notice, but I'll bang the crank in next. I'm going to do a different process with the crank. I think I've got something stewing, so when a couple of parts arrive, I'll show what crazy we're going to do with that. Knowing full well it's probably going in the bin, so I don't care if I wreck it. So if it works, awesome. If it doesn't, oh well. Talk to you soon, guys. See ya.